What up, what up, what up? So I'm getting off of work. Long, busy day. And I was just thinking to myself, I wanted to make this video earlier because it was fresh on my mind, and now it's kind of like, I mean, it ain't fading away. I still got it, but I don't know. I felt like I had more to talk about then. But either way, so I think a lot of the times, and this is with everybody, even with me, when, let's just say, I don't know, you work in retail, let's just say a grocery store, or I don't know, anything that's in demand, and it gets busy. And it gets busy enough to where you're kind of like, oh shit, it's a little bit fucking busy. I need to hustle my ass off. Instead of looking at it like, oh shit, fuck, it's about to get busy, man, fuck this. Turn that shit around and be like, yo, I'm being presented a challenge, even though it's something so minuscule, but you're being you're being given a challenge, to see if you can handle it, and these little challenges every day are things that build your character, build you as a person, and, set your self-esteem there, or it'll lower it. Just depends on how you take it. I've always looked at it like, think about something you love doing, whether it be challenging or not challenging. But when let's just say you're a painter, and you're like, man, I'd really like to paint that picture or paint that landscape or whatever the case is. If it's something you enjoy doing, you're not like, fuck, man, I don't want to do this shit, man. I got to do this shit. I don't want to do it. You're usually happy going into it and happy coming out of it. You might be tired, but you're happy regardless. And usually things turn out decent or perfect or whatever. Why? Because you kept that mind state throughout the whole thing. If you can continue that mindset with everything that you do, even though you might not love your job or you might not love what you're doing, if you're able to hold on to that positive emotion and the eagerness of, yeah, I'm going to get it done, vision yourself getting it done. It's literally the same thing whether you like doing it or not. It's just, at that point, you're putting all the bullshit aside and you're saying, fuck that, I'm getting that shit done. I don't care what it takes. I'm going to do it. And it's almost like you can almost visualize yourself finishing it before it's finished. And usually, when you do finish it, it turns out exactly how you were pondering or brainstorming in your mind. And that's how I understand how this life shit works, as far as challenges and everyday things. If we're able to look at everything, and fully be consciously aware of everything, down to the conversations that you have, to the things you do, the places you go. I don't know, say you're randomly going, you walk into a place and some random person starts talking to you. There's a reason for that, or like, for instance, I was on break going to get some bread, and I go into the store. But right before I get into the store, as I'm crossing the street, I drop my my walkie-talkie, whatever, because we have walkies at our work. And this older gentleman thought it was my cell phone, and he was like, oh man, and then he pulled me to the side and I was like, nah, no big deal. I said, this isn't mine, it's a radio, and I said it's not my cell phone, so I'm good. And he was like, oh man, I thought it was your cell phone. He was like, well shit, since I got you here, let me show you. And he pulled out this ancient ass phone, flip phone, that he's had for probably 30 years or longer. And or I don't know, however long, whatever. It looked fucking ancient. And I didn't understand, why he pulled me aside or what he was going to say, but I allowed him to do it, or I guess, I accepted it, and I sat there with him. He just kind of shoot the shit with me, and was like, this phone's been through everything. He's like, it does what it needs to do, and I'm okay with it. I don't need a fancy phone to get on the internet and do this and do that. He was like, if you need to call me, call my phone. He was like, and he showed me the screen. There's literally, the only thing you could see on this damn screen was how much service my man had. Everything else, straight black, for that matter. Yeah, it was completely blacked out. And I sat there and thought to myself, like, why is this guy telling me this? Like, I don't understand. I really don't understand. And when I left, I still didn't understand. Because it just, to me, I guess my ego was telling me, what the fuck is this? Why the fuck are you telling me this? This is pointless. But if you open your mind and think to yourself, like, well, that little bit of conversation might have made him happy, which in turn made the rest of his night happy. If y'all can think that deep, not saying that y'all can't, but some people just don't. I do. I'm always analyzing everything that I'm doing, as much as I can. What I'm trying to say is that I crossed paths with this guy, this older gentleman, and regardless if I got anything out of it or not, he might have got something out of it. He might have been upset, or he might have been, in a bad mood, or whatever the case is, but for some reason it put him in a good mood, just to sit there and talk to me, to interact for a second, and it literally could have projected his life path, to a whole nother fucking parallel, or whatever you want to call it. But us as physical beings, we can't see that, and a lot of people don't think about that. But I try to, as much as I can. I don't know the guy. I don't know what he's got going on. I know that he's older, and he ain't trying to buy no cell phone. He's saving money. I didn't really take anything from it, other than it was a friendly conversation, and I took a little bit of positive energy from him, as well as he took positive energy from me. But those little things, even though you're like, that's the most pointless shit, you don't know that. You don't know whether, and this is just being completely extreme, but you don't know if that guy was so fucking depressed that he could have had a heart attack when he got home, for whatever reason, but because I lifted some of the stress off of his heart or body or whatever, that it allowed him to carry on. Now that's really extreme, I know that, but this is what I think about. Like, this is what I think about on a daily basis with people that I interact with and people that I know and shit that happens to me, just like the car accident. You know, at first, of course, you know, I seen the car accident as a terrible thing because I was all fucked up and my mouth was all wounded and shit. I had stitches in my lip, all that. And I couldn't really see the positive, but I see it now because your boy don't speed no more, alright? And I wasn't like a heavy speeder, but I would speed, I don't know, I kind of like the rush of it, but not no more. I might go over five over, and maybe if I'm trying to get around somebody, yeah, I might speed a little bit, but for the most part, I'm not flying down the road at 90 miles an hour just to get home when there's no reason for me to fly down the road. And, I don't know. I just feel like I'm not really sure why I'm making this video other than just to tell you what I'm thinking, because I keep trying to tell myself in my head that regardless if it's something that I think is so stupid to talk about or such I don't know, minute fucking situation, or, you know, unimportant, whatever the case is, it might be important to somebody else because it might open up somebody else's mind. It might allow somebody to be like, yo, that's a great way of thinking, you know, maybe I'm gonna try that, you know, I'm gonna try that, whatever the case is. So that's all I'm saying, is that, you know, yeah, you don't have to analyze every single thing that happens in your life, but it's good to. Why? Because nothing goes unturned and unseen, for that matter. And you might learn something, you know, even if it's something so stupid, you might learn something. But I just wanted to share that with y'all because I feel like a lot of people just aren't thinking anymore, and when you're not thinking, you're not yourself. You know, you're not being aware of the surroundings and things that are happening in your life. And I feel like the more aware and the more conscious we become as far as what's going on, down to like the small little fucking things, all the way to, you know, the government and all that bullshit, you become more aware. Your energy changes. Your path changes. You know? Imagine if, you know, I couldn't imagine me dismissing everything that I've seen and been shown and being like, yeah, fuck that, I'm going back to sleep. Like, fuck that shit. I don't want to do this. There's times where I was severely depressed and I was like, man, I fucking hate this shit, but I know I got to go through it, you know? And I know everyone's going to have those kind of times, and that's okay. And that's why I like to make these videos, to make somebody smile, make somebody happy, make somebody fucking think something different, you know? Change a perspective, you know? Change a situation, honestly, and change your path, you know? You just never know. I always look at it like, if I didn't get into that car accident in the situation that I did, and I was driving my car, I'd probably be dead. Easily. So I'm thankful. I'm grateful. And I understand it, you know what I mean? But that's all. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. It's been a minute, but I'm back. Alrighty. On my way home. Peace.